Welcome to another week of MMO Concept Art. I am your instructor, Steve Curtis. And how's it going tonight, guys?
It's
Well
going
enough.
it's going pretty well. Got to go to Spectrum over the weekend, so I'm doing pretty good.
Was
I
that
love how,
that was last weekend, right?
That was this last
This
Saturday.
last weekend. Did you have a good time
Yeah,
there?
I did. Um, I had a senior art director do a portfolio review of my stuff, and he liked what he saw, so I'm still pretty psyched about that. It's been many days since then, and I'm still pumped about that, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I got to meet some cool people like Wayne Reynolds. I mean, if you've ever seen a D&D book, you've seen his art probably.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, yeah, I don't know him by name, but then I
He
imagine
signs
I have seen it.
he signs everything War. He's the guy with the W, the weird triangle
Oh,
shape
okay.
A R. Yeah. So like he's done like everything. It seems like magic cards, D&D books, World of Warcraft concept art.
There you go. Good people to meet.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculously awesome there.
wait, is she the guy with the signature?
What?
Oh, Wolf.
He's
I
the
just
guy.
wanted to participate.
Well played.
Indeed.
Thank you.
All right. On that note, Wolf, then I'm giving the screen
Oh,
to you.
bastard.
You get to participate.
Ugh.
Those aren't ridiculous.
Only a little.
Only, yeah. I mean, they're a little big, but
He'll grow into them.
but I don't think I can use the word ridiculous. All right, there you go, Wolf. Decided to turn you off again. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's all right. No, they're ridiculous for many reasons. It's not the size. It's well, first of all, they would just stomp. There's no ability to turn.
See, I think we should have them as an option, and we should name them ludicrous boots.
Ludicrous bits. But no, and they're not like, and there should be more support on the bottom here thing because it's it should be designed that he is less likely to tip over instead of more likely. But yeah, I mean, there's like this is off of perspective because at first I was thinking it was more flat, then I started thinking, oh no, it's kind of curving around, but I didn't adjust for that, so this is way out of whack. And then this is what I was talking about with the arm. I know I think I got around the correct volume, but it's not like I didn't really picture exactly how it would turn around here and stuff. So I don't know. But yeah,
It's pretty close, and the perspective on the other arm is corrected. I see.
I corrected that. The idea, you see his hands like kind of operate these hands. These, these.
Yeah, there's like large mechanical systems between his actual hand and the robot hand, basically.
Yeah. So I mean, his hand is much smaller, but so this is, like you make a fist and protect his hands from explosions or whatnot, but you can also use it for punching, melee. It's like you got a lot of strength there more than it's not going to risk breaking his knuckles or something, but it can also use. I mean, it's got the ability to move just like his hands. So.
I actually like it, man.
Yeah.
There are things I like about it. I ultimately I don't like what's going on right here. I think these need to be a little they're like too small. They need to kind of look bulkier because it just to give off the impression of big tank kind of thing. So those I'm not happy with. I kind of like what's going on here. Kind of interesting. And
Yeah, I like the shoulders.
This arm I like. That's my favorite part. But
I do not dislike those boots though.
I hate them.
And I think that big platform bottom, I think you should cut a heel out of that and make it look like 70s platform shoes.
Or make a
glass.
Or put like an aquarium in there.
With a fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be tight. That would say tank. Fish tank. Yeah, I'm thinking about making like little sections that kind of come out a little like this, stabilizers. But
I think you should replace them with Gene Simmons' demon boots.
right. Well, naturally. But I was trying to go off of the go away from the obvious.
I think we should do like all future human concepts and base them on like Guar. Like everything should look
Guar.
like it's straight out of Guar.
But then we can't have the Kiss Spaceman thing. Maybe
well,
Guar and Kiss.
Okay, yeah. That's fair enough.
I changed this a little bit. It used to be like I brought this up so it actually attaches to here, but you still shows like it looks like it can move on, pivot on that.
No, I like it. That's a good heavy mech suit.
Yeah.
You're too hard on yourself.
It's okay. I'm gonna try a couple different things, but yeah, I'm still working on it.
I think.
But
If
yeah,
you, I think
I'm
if
gonna
you
have
saw that modeled in 3D, you'd be like, "Oh, I was wrong. It does look pretty kick-ass."
If you don't include the boots, yeah, I would. I think it's okay. Especially, I mean, if you fix some of the perspective things, it's okay. It's just not. It's not necessarily giving the look that I was that I'm kind of going for. But the boots things right here, like so I'm gonna have like a little section thing here, so like the foot can move, can bend, So, versus.
Stop beating yourself up. I like it.
Yeah. Well, anyway. What?
I was just gonna say, if you beat yourself up too much, you won't leave anything left for us to beat up, and that's fair.
Yeah, this is a team setting, Wolf. We get to beat up on you too.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry, guys. Guess we've all learned something this week. Like this is okay. Sometimes part of me kind of likes it, and part of me doesn't think this should be a little different. I don't know. It's kind of it like right now. It doesn't necessarily look like armor so much as like padding, like this.
See, it does look like armor to me. To me, it's reminiscent of the old samurai armor.
Yeah, yeah, it does look very samurai. His armor in general looks interesting. But yeah, I mean, this was I realized before having this bulk out and having the waist thin, obviously it looked very feminine. But that was one of things that I did to alleviate that. And yeah, I don't know. when I look at it, I think like a baseball diamond or something.
Dude, looks good.
Yeah, it's still being too hard. You're not leaving anything, Wolf. Not being a team player. Come on. No,
right.
that looks pretty good. I'm very happy with that.
I agree.
And I actually do like the upper chest.
Mm-hmm.
I know you feel that that's not looking bulky enough, but I think if it was more, it would be too much.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not saying like further out, or like I'm like, instead of like having this section here, just kind of add that and going down a little bit more, not as in bulking out towards us.
Yeah, you want it to look more like bigger pecs.
Yeah, but not. I mean, not just to resemble pecs, but also just because I have a design idea, and I didn't really, I got an interesting heavy armor thing going on here, except for the boots, and but it's not what I was going for. So I'm still thinking in design concept. So I don't think this is a bad concept. It's just, I mean, like, it has perspective issues and stuff, but the concept I don't think is bad. But I think I still want to work on. I mean, I think this could be used, but I think, except for the boots, but I think that
You've done a good job of sticking that in twice now.
Adding something, adding what I'm talking about here would do something a little bit to help make it.
Hey, Ty.
I don't know, because it kind of.
Can you come here?
It kind of has a design language that makes it look like smaller armor, because it's more. It's got these these small pieces, and it just kind of. I don't think it communicates quite what I was going for, and that's okay. Not everything has to, but I think the decision should be made because that's the way I want to go, rather than because I missed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
Well,
that's
I have to
enough.
say, like, as far as design concepts go, it's a great first step.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to make things too rigid, because then the guy isn't going to be able to move. And at the end of the day, he needs that mobility. So I wouldn't worry about making it too rigid.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not.
No, I understand what you're getting at. It's a good design, but it's not the design you had in your head. You're not happy about that.
I think I can improve upon it, and it would look more like what I was trying to say. And the thing is, it's like whether both are used or just this one was used. That's not really the point. It's either way is fine. But it's for my own growth, if nothing else, I should that's something to work on and strive for.
Yeah, by all means. With that, I agree. That's
yeah, I can get behind that.
But at any rate, you get a well done from us.
Yeah,
agreed. Yep.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
Thanks.
Nick, you got anything?
I'm thumbnailing concepts for some Alethian-like structures.
All right. Give you a little time.
I've got one done, and I'll get kind of started on the other one. You could just look at it now and then come back if you don't have other things to show.
Yeah, I'll bring it over to me, and then we'll come back to you, give you a little more time to play with it.
Okay. I could also go over some of the critiques that I got, just so I could show some stuff like that about.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like the robot I did earlier, I sort of edited like it was according to the critique, and it looks a lot better now than it did before.
Oh yeah, that would be very cool. All right, are you guys? Yeah, you guys are seeing picture viewer.
Some rocks.
Yeah, kind of. I was
Essentially
fiddling.
photo viewer.
Yeah,
Windows photo viewer.
Windows photo viewer.
Okay. There's a
Yeah,
difference.
I was. See, I leave room for you, Wolf.
I take room.
Anyway, I was fiddling with the idea of, since our first few maps will kind of be MOBA style maps where there's not really open world to run around in. I was fiddling with the idea of this cliffside map. So I thought I'd play with it a little bit and just slap some textures I had on it. And let you guys see the thought process there, because one of the things I wanted, I don't know if any of the 3D guys have worked with it before, but the concept of having what they call a wide, which is basically a way to make an open air area look like a massive landscape without it really being a massive landscape or a lot of polys.
It's just called a wide?
Yeah, it's called a wide.
Huh.
And that'll make more sense as we go along. But so I had this idea for a map called Cliffside, so I modeled a cliffside quickly. And then I created a sphere, cut off the half of it and flatten it down a bit. And you place it out below this. And even though this is just basically an inverted box that I've fiddled with, it looks like a cliff edge. And this very low poly sphere down here is mapped to look like it's very, very far away, even though it's not. And that's why they call them wides. You get this look of a horizon line out there. If I had time to throw some kind of sky map in there, that would really show it off better. But
that makes me think of like how they used to show they'd make models for like mini models for things in movies, and they'd make it look like it was far away, but it's really just a small model.
Oh yeah, Monty Python on the Holy Grail.
Yeah, well,
is
yeah,
a
they made
great
fun
example
of
of that.
Right, exactly.
This little 4-foot castle stuck on top of a knoll looks like Camelot 2 miles away.
Right.
So I just did a couple quick screenshots, and then I pulled in his little, just to give an idea of scale, I pulled in his model of the Alethian. So this whole flat area would actually be like our last practice map size.
Gotcha.
Let's see how much I can maneuver here. And then you get this huge, looks like this massive model. It's really a box and a sphere. And that's it. And then you populate the heck out of it with smaller meshes for up close play, and you have a huge, huge open world that really isn't, and is very low draw on your engine.
So, what does the wide do? It's blurring it, but what else is it doing?
All
it's smaller texture or something.
No, that's actually a pretty big texture, because the texture I had was just like for a stone walkway, and you can kind of see the actual stones. I used a geosphere rather than a sphere because I was just working fast before class, so that's making that texture get that kind of star pattern to it. I would normally use either a sphere, or I would use a flat plane and just pull the middle up to get that horizon line. But at any rate, if you're playing on here, you're going to look out and you can do some very low poly modeling and create some mesas, and you can put some plains out there with trees and such, and it's going to look like this massive landscape. And it's not. It's the top of a sphere, and it's the inside of a box with 3 of the sides removed.
Sweet.
And you end up with a really cool play area, and people think you're a magnificent artist, and really you're a hack like me. It's beautiful.
No, is that similar to a skybox, or is that?
Well, it's actual
Yeah,
geometry
yeah.
instead of the skybox, but yeah.
In theory, yeah, if you mapped a skybox to the inside of a sphere, that would be very similar. And if people could actually walk off the edges or get outside the play area, you'd see that it's really, it's almost like a little miniature stage. But
I was
that's
actually
just one of the cheats.
How does it make it look like it's has a horizon? Is it?
In this case, it looks like a horizon just because I used a sphere and then I just flattened it down. So you're actually getting curve, which gives it that horizon line look. But you could have used just a plane and then just pulled up the middle to get curve to it.
Oh, so you have to have a curve, otherwise you'll be able to tell.
Yeah, otherwise you'll break the illusion. It's that curve that kind of sells it.
It'll look like it just stops.
Yeah.
Well, that works for raised areas like the cliff and all that kind of stuff. If you were on the ground, then there'd be other stuff getting in the way of that curve.
Yeah. Then you could just use a plane. You'd be fine. Yeah, the whole point of a wide is literally for that, where you have this huge vista view, and it looks like you just modeled millions of polygons, and it's really a few polygons and some pictures of trees and rocks on planes far away.
Isn't that well, not the sky itself, but I mean, well, okay, maybe that's not a skybox. I guess when they do skyboxes and things, they have the skybox, but they have another. I don't know if that's also called a wide, but they have like the land that's down there. That's actual. I don't know if it's actual. I think it's actual geometry.
Well, it depends on the game. In some cases, it's a picture just mapped to the back, and in some cases, like this, is geometry.
I think they often, I mean, it's like the sky. It's like a combination. They often do a combination, like.
Yes, sometimes the rear mountains are actually mapped onto the skybox.
Right. Yeah. But the closer up stuff.
Essentially, it's like layers. Anything that's close enough that it could potentially move, but we can get away with low detail because you'll never get to it. We can get away with putting it into the geometry of the level, but anything that's too far away, you just render it against you render it in the skybox, and that's where it stays.
Yep.
So you could have like mountains off in the distance, all that kind of stuff. I actually have I do have a scene set up that's basically 6 cameras, and that's all it's there for, is to render skyboxes. And you just basically position those cameras wherever they need to be in the scene to get that effect. That's how I got the Starfield.
Yeah, so you basically the terrain that goes inside, I guess, the skybox that they were talking about, that it's the reason they do it that way is because you're able to actually use like low res. Like I'm not like why do they have, what's the advantage of actually putting it into the skybox versus just having it under your level?
Well, the advantage for the skybox is all you're doing is rendering a picture. So you can have as much detail as you want as far away as it is, and it won't affect the game engine itself.
Okay, the sky. Okay, I thought. Well,
like if I was going to put low detail geometry in the scene, that would be something that I would interact with. So if there's something you could hit to, fire some artillery off into the distance and have something blow up, that's where I'd put the low detail geometry and just have you'd see the explosion off in the distance, that kind of thing.
But do they tend to have a big, massive thing that's under the level? Because I think they tend to have something somewhere else and it's projected.
Well, I mean, it depends on
something that I've seen. I'm just
What'd the scene look like, so I can understand what you're talking about? Because
I don't know. I mean, I think I might be thinking of back in Unreal 4 or something. You know, I think I'm thinking of something like that. But like where they I I can't remember if they actually had the area outside of the level that you can see extended ground and stuff going. I don't know if that was actually underneath the level or if that was like somehow projected down there and something that was actually smaller that wasn't that huge. So I had a feeling that there was something about there was some way that you could, I don't know if there's a way you put it in the skybox, you actually have something that's smaller, and then it's projected out, made to look much bigger. I don't know if that.
well, a lot of
Oh,
times,
I'm remembering it wrong or not.
I think I know what you're talking about. Like you're thinking about, for example, the Kerbal Space Program. They have a scaled down representation of the solar system, whereas the area that you're navigating is much bigger. Is that what you're talking about?
I didn't follow.
Okay. Basically, the idea is that when you move through an open world area with the spaces that are involved and all that kind of stuff, it's a huge number. So when you get away from the origin of the world, you have to shift that world to move all the stuff that was far away closer to you. And what they'll do from a visual perspective is they'll have a scaled down version of the solar system that shows all the planets that you can see. And when you look at the scale of those objects in the engine, they're not as big as they ought to be.
Yeah, I think it was something like that, because I think it might have been something that kind of, it might have moved with you. I'm not really sure, but maybe that's the advantage, is that it just appears to you can just kind of see it no matter where you are, versus maybe you can. I don't really know. I mean, is there really any advantage to? I mean, because it's not really the size of the polygons. It's how many you have, right? The size is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the size
that's
is
correct.
pretty much irrelevant.
So I like if you wanted, if you were like, say you had your level was on the top of this huge building or something, or maybe in between two buildings and there was a bridge and stuff, and you're on top, and maybe you can go in some of the floors. I don't know, but you can never go you're in it's skyscraper stuff, so you're never going to reach the ground, but you can see the ground. But I mean, would you put the ground in underneath as this huge mass, or would you somehow project that?
Well, it's all going to depend on the scene, and it's kind of like working on a concept painting. You start in the back, and you figure out what's the least you need to get away with the illusion, and then you just keep looking that over the closer you get. So like in this particular scene, the very back line of the mountains would probably actually be on the skybox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then the
Because
mountains that are a little
enough.
closer, you can't reach them, you can't do anything to them, but they are close enough that if you move around on the map and they're painted back there, it'll break the illusion of depth when you move. So you will actually, grab a couple of cylinders or something and model in a couple of very low poly mesas and stick them on top of this wide.
Right. So everything close, you would just make some huge.
Yeah, I mean, you might have a mesa that's made out of 20 polygons, and it looks like a massive mountain, but it's not really spending any polys.
Right, because you could you would have a low poly count, and you could, with textures, especially, you can make it so it looks like there was more, and
Yeah, it looks
because
like there's a lot of detail.
because you were at such a distance, you would buy it
Yeah.
instead of going, wait a minute.
Exactly.
And the other advantage you get is, like in the case Richard's developing a actual day-night cycle, well, then having some geometry out there is also going to get moving cast shadows that a picture in the background isn't going to get. So that also helps sell the illusion. So it's just a matter of, basically, the closer it gets to you, the more detail you got to put in, and you just got to play around and see, where those level of details change.
So how a skybox works is that everything that's in the skybox gets projected around you as a picture.
Yeah, it's basically like standing inside a six-sided cube that has pictures mapped onto it, and those pictures tile, so you can't see that it's a cube.
Right, but if can't you put geometry inside that cube?
Yes, you can.
And then that projects as a picture, even though it's geometry.
More or less. I mean, like the skybox that I have, where you've got the stars going overhead and all that kind of stuff. The moons change position in the sky every time you go around, and those are just separate objects. They're linked to that box, so you have the illusion of these moons moving throughout the sky, but they are separate objects. And if need be,
clouds are separate.
Yeah.
Like when you have moving clouds. Now,
exactly.
Do they exist? Like if you're looking at the editor, do they exist inside that skybox?
No. From a technical point of view, all it is there's a camera set up, and all it sees is the elements of the skybox. So it sees the clouds, it sees the horizon, it sees the stars, it sees the sun and the moons. But aside from that, it doesn't see characters, it doesn't see terrain, it doesn't see anything else. And the engine knows that its sole job is to render what the player sees and then render the skybox after that. Or before that.
Well,
so are the moons just pictures? They're not mass, they're not geometry?
Sorry, which is just pictures?
The moons?
Well, it's a picture that's mapped onto a square. The square itself is separate geometry. It's not part of a rendered image.
But it's a single polygon piece of geometry.
That's right.
And you wouldn't see the polygon, you would just see the picture?
Yeah, the way that it's
the
mapped, yeah, it has transparencies in place so that you don't see the actual polygon, you just see the moon attached to it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if we get to the end of this and realize we've got some room left over for additional polygons, then if you wanted to have moons that not only move through the sky but also rotate, you could do that too.
Okay, so
that would be an actual sphere of geometry then.
You can have geometry in there, but it doesn't show you. It shows you when it projects it on the game. You don't see it as geometry. You see it as an image, and it's not calculating. Well, I guess if it's turning, it's going to have to calculate it somewhere.
Any separate object, it has to calculate the polygons. If it was something that was rendered into 6 still images that are mapped onto the box, that doesn't need to be calculated for geometry.
So the moons, you say, those are outside of they're not inside the cube of the skybox. They're just out.
Well, as far as the game engine is concerned, they are separate pieces of geometry. They're just linked to that cube.
But if you're looking, like, say, in an editor, how?
From a visual standpoint, yes, all of this is inside that skybox.
Okay.
The engine doesn't look at it like that, but
Right. But we do.
but yeah, from looking at an editor standpoint,
Yeah.
the cube that the
Right.
skybox is on is just this massive cube that encompasses everything we see. We're in the whole world's inside it.
Yeah.
And it depends on the engine too. In Unreal, the Sky Dome is actual geometry for their skyboxes that have just static skies. That's just an actual piece of geometry with the normals and flipped to the inside and a picture painted on it. So it does render it as geometry, but when you consider the scale that it's covering, it's a very low poly cost for that much visual effect, so it's worth it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, for example, if I'm doing a scene that takes place in outer space and it's just ships flying around and all that kind of stuff, then the sort of skybox that I have where you're rotating it around based on the time of day doesn't need to be used. So you could use the built-in skybox system to just show, you know, a nebula in the background and stars and all that stuff that's so far away you're never going to get to it, then it doesn't matter. As you rotate the camera around, it's going to take care of looking at different stars and altering your point of view accordingly. But because we need something, for example, in the day-night cycle, once it's implemented, you're going to see the stars rolling overhead. You can't get that with the built-in system. So you kind of have to fudge it and make your own.
Right. Of course, if you were circling a planet, then
if you were actually flying around a planet in the game, the planet would have to be actual geometry.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, if the game only allows you to be in orbit, you can fudge a lot how many polygons you really have to spend to get the effect, because it's so far away. Your mind comprehends it as being so far away. In the game, your ship model and the sphere of the planet might be just crazy disproportionate to what reality would be, and the planet might be right next to you. But depending on how you do the textures, you sell the visual that it's not, that it's very far away. And that's kind of exactly what's going on here. There's really two pieces of geometry that are very close together, but when you're the little tiny Alethian character, where'd he go on me? Down here, it's going to look like this massive world full of millions of polygons, and it's not.
Yeah. Hey, if you were, like, say, in a space station, even forgetting the planet, you're just, you know, not in particular orbit of a planet, but it was, you know, it itself was spinning around, then I guess you would just have, like, stars all over the skybox, and so as you rotated, you would just rotate what the camera was doing, so you could see.
Well,
it would look like the stars were rotating.
If you're in a space station, or if your game is inside a ship and you can't actually walk on the outside hull of a ship, then it just comes down to what kind of cheats do you want to use. You might have a flat polygon, single polygon plane right in front of the window of that space station, that's just rendering a cutscene movie of a rotating planet, rather than spend all that time on geometry. And you know, it's easy to sell the illusion.
If it's a station that wasn't in orbit of a planet, then I'd do one or two things. If it's one of those things that you can look at all sorts of different viewports and see that star field from all those different points of view, I'd use a skybox, because then it's just one skybox to control the whole thing. You rotate that cube that has that skybox mapped onto it, and that creates the illusion of rotation.
Okay, so you don't rotate the camera, you rotate the cube itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd actually do it the opposite of the look you're trying to get. You wouldn't move, and you'd rotate the skybox, but it gives the impression that the skybox isn't moving and you are.
All right.
Yeah. And if it's a case where throughout the entire level there's only one window you're going to be looking out at, and it's out of the side of the station, I'd just create a sheet of stars that was tileable and just tell it to pan across that sheet, across the one or two polygons that you get to look out and see the star field.
Yep.
And that's
or maybe you, if you could control this, you'd make it so you were looking at a window that's on the axis that it's turning on, so it would just spin around.
Yeah, but I mean that's why, like I said, if it was multiple windows and multiple points of view, the reason I'd use the skybox is because then I don't have to worry about whether you're looking at one that the stars are going to spin, or if you're looking at one that's at an angle, or any of that crap. You just rotate the skybox according to the axis of rotation for that space station, and the rest of it would take care of itself. It wouldn't matter where you're looking.
Yeah, everything about game design is how creative can you get in reducing the strain on the engine? How do we sell the illusion? In one of our previous classes on UDK where we were talking about lighting, we were trying to make a little overhead light at night flicker. And you can, in UDK, you can program the light to flicker intermittently. But for what you're getting, it's a huge cost to the engine to continually calculate that.
Right.
So instead, we created a transparent texture that had just intermittent black on it, and put that into the light and just scrolled it past it so that the black would cover up the light here and there, which is very, very low cost to do. But in the game, you just saw this flickering spot, like it was a bad light. And so that was kind of why I wanted to show this. That we should always be thinking, how can we cheaply sell the illusion rather than trying to create the reality?
Yeah. Until computers get so massive that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, which is
well,
probably closer than we think. But
then again, if we use these same particular performance techniques with those computers, think about how much more you could have on the screen.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, at some point, it would take someone's lifetime to, or a team's a lifetime for a team to create enough content to slow down the computers.
Yeah,
future tech.
Well,
but by then we'll have holodecks.
By the way, it's called procedural generation, where you don't have the team generate everything. You have the team generate some stuff, and the computer generate everything from the stuff the team generates.
Right.
Yeah.
At a certain point, it would be so massive that it couldn't be explored. So then people won't have to worry. Which would be nice, because then you wouldn't. I think it'd probably save a lot of time to not have to worry about. I mean, some of these shortcuts, they're good for making things run well, but they do take a little more time to get them done. Some of them, anyway.
Yeah, in some cases, yes, you're investing more time to get better performance. In some cases, you're actually cheating and making it very quickly, and that's actually enhancing your performance, so you're getting a win-win. But basically, a scene like this, the whole reason we're not, it's not that the engine couldn't handle all that, but everything we save out in that vast vista is stuff we can spend right next to that character.
Yeah.
Right, but I also, characters would be easier. I mean, what if you could just go into ZBrush, make a character, and rig that, and not have to scale it down and worry about that. I mean, you could put on so much detail that you really wouldn't have to paint, so much stuff in. You wouldn't have to worry about
all the normal mapping and all that.
Yeah, all that stuff.
And and in games we can't do that yet, but in many instances, like for movies, they do that. That the models in the movies are actually right on a Mudbox or a ZBrush.
Because they can afford to spend 6 weeks to render one frame.
Yep.
Right, and not having to say bake out certain environments and stuff to just have it all dynamically lit, like you said, not have to come up with cheats for it. Just go, oh, the program knows how to handle lights.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, someday the game engines will be able to do it too. They're getting ridiculously close now.
Not, I'm sure it would alleviate a lot of headaches from Nelson if he didn't have to worry about being proficient or not, in his coding, not be efficient, I guess.
Well, I remember talking to my dad. He used to program in Fortran and stuff like that, and he took a look at my code and sees all the comments, and he's like, yeah, I wasn't able to do that back in the day. There wasn't enough room in memory for comments.
I hope Nelson's not listening. He'll give you crap.
Hey, that's not me. That's my dad.
No, he'll give you crap about having comments.
Oh.
Nelson,
Oh, yeah,
Nelson doesn't believe in them.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What's that about?
Nelson's Nelson. He can afford that.
That's like believing in not labeling layers.
No, hardly
No.
the same thing.
Oh,
You
here
have
we
some.
go.
Well, I mean, you have, I'm not saying that I never use them, and they are important sometimes, but they're only important if you're incapable of making the code itself readable. Every time you use a comment, I mean, it's basically admitting that you failed to make the code readable in the absence of a comment. And by introducing a comment, you also introduce a significant amount of maintenance cost, because now not only do you have to maintain the code, you also have to maintain the comment. And it doubles maintenance cost, and it's generally not needed if you write code in a particular way in the first place. So that's my thoughts on it anyway.
And also, you've mentioned before that your naming conventions of things should be used to almost in place of comments to make sense of what is going on.
Yeah.
See, I knew I'd get him in.
As soon as you mention code. Oh.
But all right, I think yeah, it's almost the top of the hour. Why don't we do our coffee break, and we'll come back. We'll take a look at Nick. We'll see if Sergio's got anything for us because he's here, and we will continue on. So let's take 5.
Sweet deal.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, we're back from our break, and we're going to switch over and take a look at some sketch work from Sergio. So Sergio, coming to you.
Okay.
There we go. I love your heavy hatch mark sketching. Oh, I'll bet it cut off your mic. Hang on. Sure did. Alright, now we can hear you.
Like to do that.
Okay. Yeah, these ones you already saw, I believe. This one particularly.
I don't remember the bottom one,
This.
but I'm
I
old.
might have.
I'm old and I have a faulty memory, so.
I don't remember it either.
Let me see.
Well, if you just put it in a C file, I wouldn't have seen it this week because I've been on other projects. I haven't been in there.
No, probably you saw this one.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Saw
yeah.
that. That's what we saw.
It came from that. So, okay. And then it's not finished, of course, but I cleaned them up really fast, so a lot of the lines are not showing. I think I took the levels way too. Uh, I added too much contrast or something. I lost a lot of lines, but
Yeah, it's a sketch.
this is
Yep.
this is kind of the pilot I was telling you about, but it's
Sweet.
really rough. But
He's very World War
probably-
II.
yeah,
Oh, he's been flying a long time.
yeah. These are I didn't actually do them for the class, but if you see something you like, you can use them. These are sketches I do when I'm on the bus. I take a really small notepad to sketch. That's
Just to
why
doodle.
that's why they're really rough because well, the bus is moving, so it's not really that simple to
Yeah.
make the lines. I really like when I'm sketching someone in the bus and they realize you're staring at them. Yeah.
Yep, the life of a creeper
until they
artist.
realize you're until they realize you're drawing. So
The left side panel,
we can-
the one with the sunglasses.
this one,
Yeah.
yeah.
For some reason, Richard, your main character girl, looks like that in my head.
Which particular main character, Danielle, or?
Yeah, isn't it Danielle? Not the mom, but the daughter.
Okay, yep. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
this is one of the. Sometimes some of these are completely invented, but some are. I'm trying to sketch the people, and well, they get out. They get out of the bus, or they start looking the other way. So I finish from my mind. I
Yeah.
invent
Yeah,
the
just
rest,
finish it
but-
out from imagination. Yeah, when I first saw it,
Yeah.
I was like, that could have been a guy or a girl on the bus, but to me, it looks like that character, kind of rough cut
It
hair.
was a girl.
Yep.
Um,
Sweet, yep. I'd
Then
like
I
to see
have-
more of that.
of what? Of what?
The girl with
Oh,
the sunglasses.
Yeah,
As the girl that's got the stone in her chest.
Yeah. I'll work on that. Then I did a few of these. Again, you can barely see the pencil, but all the bases are there.
You
Now,
can barely see the what?
The
Wait.
pencil.
Oh, the
Pencil
pencil.
marks.
Yeah.
way back
Oh.
when I was
I like that.
way
When we
back
didn't
when
have
I was giving
computers.
references and I was saying I wanted it kind of steampunk but kind of 70s sci-fi. That is exactly what I was trying to convey. That's the style I was talking about. Where it's kind of steampunky, but it's got too many smooth lines to really be steampunk. It's got a very 70s vibe to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then a few more sketches. I don't know.
I like that dress.
yeah.
This one.
Yeah. That's a very cool dress.
I tend to do more fantasy than other things, so
That's just
I
awesome.
think that
Looks like a futuristic Jeep.
Yeah, well, it's it kind of it makes me like the back part where the pilot is. It makes me think of what the episode 1 Star Wars where they're doing the pod racings, but then it's like it's kind of got classic car in the front.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it and seeing the ad going, the new 2273 Ford Mustang.
Yeah.
I could see that showing up in The Fifth Element with all their like
Right,
older style flying cars.
Yeah, it's kind of I like the mixture of future with kind of the craftsmanship of like
Of a more
old
classic
style.
type of.
Classic style. It's like it's not just the hand craftsmanship, but it's like they're communicating that the design is, they have different things on mind. It's like look in the front, it's like that's not aerodynamic, but they weren't thinking of aerodynamic back then. They were thinking of other
They
things.
wanted it to be cool.
Yeah,
That's all they cared
but
about.
I mean they didn't well, it's not that they didn't know about aerodynamics, but they didn't know as much, they didn't think about it as much, especially not for, I mean, they thought about it for aircrafts, but like
They were more interested in it being original and likable.
Yep.
Yeah.
But making a statement, kind of.
What is Danielle's last name, Richard?
Riggs. R-I-G-G-S.
Thank you, Nick, because all week now I'm going to be going Danielle Riggs multipass.
Okay, I gotta work multi-passes into the story now.
I didn't like that movie when I first saw it, but
Are
I've
you
grown
kidding me?
to like it.
That is
Well,
in my top few favorite sci-fis of all time.
because I wasn't expecting something so, it's like absurd. It's like not just absurd. It's kind of it's kind of over the top a little bit.
More than a little.
Yeah, but it's like, so I just wasn't but once you kind of accept that, well, this is just fun,
Yeah, once you
and that's
decide
cool.
just to laugh with it, it's awesome.
What's the name of the movie?
The Fifth Element.
That.
Nelu Dallas multipass. She knows it's a multipass.
Oh, no, wash.
That's a cool guy. That's a cool drawing.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's nice cross-hatching.
Cross-hatching for me is kind of a disease.
It's what?
A disease. I cannot. Normally, I try not to do it because once I start, I mean, I can show you one that is really ugly.
It's what you get obsessive on it, or what? I don't know what you're saying.
Yep.
Okay.
It's like me and my smudge tool rocks. I've sat for like 4 hours making like rocks with the smudge tool before in a painting.
Sorry.
Yeah,
The
it
thing
is
is-
kind of time consuming.
The thing is with cross-hatching, you reach a point where you're not.
In control the
You
cross-hatching.
lost all the values.
I'm sorry.
All the values you try to convey, they're not there anymore.
Yeah, you go too far. But you can do that with any style.
So I think it's on the PC. Pretty shit.
4 hours of a smudge. What's it like to not have ADD, Nick? Because I couldn't do that.
I have like reverse ADD, where sometimes if I start doing something, I lose all track of time. Like
Oh,
suddenly it'll be like
No, that's
8
not
hours
that's
later.
not reverse ADD. That's actually ADD.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
You can't pay attention, but when you finally do, you focus in on it so much that everything else disappears.
okay. Yeah, that's basically what happened. Was I started working on rocks, and I'm just like, I'm kind of enjoying this, and then it was 4 hours later.
Yeah. But you see what
Yeah,
can
yeah,
happen
that's
with me and
pushed too
cross-hatching.
far.
Yeah. Overworked.
Yeah, one of my art teachers used to yell at me for not going black enough in the shadows, and on that one I'd have to yell at you for getting rid of all the whites.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this
Well, maybe
was,
he's in a dark room.
I was thinking about the dragons. I think I saw in an old video that you were saying something about they're not being that intelligent. So
This is for who?
this is more like across like another race. Imagine of course, all the dragons they took from Earth, if I'm not
Yeah, that's
mistaken.
correct.
They were like pets, let's say.
And this
Well,
is like an
imagine the
evolved
dragons
one.
that. Huh?
And this
Oh,
is like
Yeah,
an
imagine
evolved
the
one.
dragons in Elitia. I thought of them like being more evolved.
You thought like a person dragon, like a
Like a cross, yeah.
morphosis.
I believe I have, yeah. This is
Yeah.
another one of those. Yeah, kind of something like that, but I don't know. Then again with my cross hatching, this is not finished, of course, but
Now,
yeah, I
now
had
what
to
do you
stop
see
doing
that
this.
being? Because I really like the buildings.
I was thinking more something like Petra.
Like a
Um,
like a what?
Petra. Petra, the city of Petra.
Oh, Petra. Okay.
All carved in the stone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was thinking something more like that. For example, a huge Elysian city will be like the towers we saw in Nick's concepts and all of that. But I was thinking more like a town, a small town or something
Yeah,
like that.
village
will be
or
more
something.
like
Like a village, yeah. Cool.
yeah, will be something more like that city. So I went for something like that. But yeah, this is crap,
the-
honestly.
Well, it's not boots, but I had a similar idea, and except I had trees and gonna have other vegetation growing on the tops of the buildings and stuff.
Then more of the small ships. This was actually a bit of practice because I haven't done this in a while.
I like the lower right. Yeah,
This?
yeah, that looks like a little desert speeder or something.
Almost looks like it has a mouth.
Yeah, I don't know, Sergio. If you're not careful, you're going to be in charge of vehicle concepts.
This is in
That
the same
still makes me
folder.
laugh.
Yeah, I believe that's the last one. Yeah.
Cool.
After
Good
that,
work.
it's.
Yeah,
I-
you did
I
well.
couldn't
You
do
did
much
well, sir.
than that. Okay. For Danielle, I don't think I have it here, but I was thinking something more like this, short hair. For the hair mostly, and
Yeah, that's
Cool,
kind of
yeah.
reminiscent of that other one I liked.
yeah,
And yeah, that's how I see her, that kind of short, rough cut hair.
Yeah, I agree.
But
you can see
could
here
that-
I ran out of paper and continue. I just moved the paper and continue the drawing. Don't mind me.
if there was only some way to put her sunglasses on the other, nah, that's crazy.
What?
Nothing.
Well, actually, if we can get like a what is it, an isometric view, just like from the front and from the side for the character, I can alter the mesh to match that for when she's grown up.
Now what's that dragon head right below it?
This? I don't know. Doodling.
Well, just because where you doodled it, I'm seeing her in like some sort of like Air Force
Cauldron?
jumpsuit or something, but with like
Yeah,
but with like a
just
piece of
armor, yeah.
Alethian armor on.
it's like a flight jacket with a badge sort of thing.
Yeah. Or like just, you know, she's got her clothes that she showed up in, but after all her contact with the Alethian chick, she's got some like
Yeah.
Alethian pieces on her clothes too.
Yeah, I could see that.
This could easily be a pauldron or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Just covering over the shoulder. It's
I
just
haven't done
it's just
much.
funny that that's where you doodled it, so that's what I saw.
Yeah, and actually I did this one first. So
There you go, even
It's,
better.
it's kind of like Dances with Wolves, as Kevin Costner's character keeps integrating. You know, first he lost his hat, and then he the guy picks it up, and the other guy makes him trade it with that
Oh yeah, God, I haven't seen that in years.
like that first that thing he wears around his neck and stuff, but it's like little by little he has until he you know is pretty much dressing like them.
Yeah, his uniform's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see her fleshed out a little bit.
sure,
That's a cool
I'll try
character.
to do that. Yeah, I'm trying to. I see if I can ask my boss if I can use his PC for a while, so I can actually use the tablet. Uh, because I work a lot faster
In digital.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I might do a few ones because all of this is sure they're a lot, but they're not meant for the class. I mean, I did it. I did them on the bus.
I don't care, Sergio. I'll steal from wherever I like. I did also
Sure,
like
I
a
can.
couple of those vehicle concepts were very cool.
What pin or pins are you using? Are you using one pin for all that?
Mostly a 0.2.
Are you using multiple pins? Like
I usually, for this, I use only one because I'm not going, since these are made in the bus, I'm not actually with all the things in there. I use a marker, a 0.2 for the point. I don't know how to say it.
uh-huh. Well, yeah, I mean it's neat because I mean you've got like fine lines, light fine lines plus where you've gone over more, the ink looks really solid.
Yeah, that's because sometimes if it moves too much, the bus, I end up retracing lines so it wouldn't be so so sloppy. But as you can see, not
Right.
always works.
Right. I'm just saying, it's not like I mean those that you've got like blacked out spots, it's inked
Yeah, I end up adding shadows to
black.
cover some lines that
I'm just saying it's a versatile pen because it's
Yeah.
some pen, obviously it's meant for this, like some pens they're very difficult to do, like spot black type stuff.
it's the kind of pen you use for to draw planes, architectural blueprints. There we go.
Oh, a technical pen?
Yeah, I don't know how estilógrafo it's here. I don't know how you will translate it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, though. It's someone in my art group uses them. They're the technical, like, drafting pens, basically.
Yeah, that. These are the discardable ones. I don't know if that word is correct. because you have the more expensive ones that you just
you
fill them
fill,
with ink,
yeah,
and
right.
but I use the ones that you draw because they're way more cheap. They were cheap, way cheaper.
But
So,
even, I mean, like after the initial investment of buying the pen, uh,
you still need
it,
the ink.
yeah, but those inks, aren't they less expensive? Are they still more expensive than just buying a new pen
Yeah.
each time?
At least here, it's right now for me it's prohibitive. It's a lot of money. I used to have them when I did blueprints, but after a while the point just you have to replace the point, and they're not there.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't really messed around with pins much, so.
Yeah, I
For
haven't
me,
used them since like '84, whatever it was when I was in school.
I've been thinking about messing around with pens and Copic markers, but I just haven't had the money to spend on pens and Copic markers.
The Copic markers are really
Yeah.
expensive.
They are so awesome though, watching people work with them. They're
Yeah.
like watercolors
Yeah.
for noobs.
Those are the ones that they're like gray, like you can get like a gray one, and so you can like.
They're not like a normal marker. They all have, what is it? There's some solution that the ink is suspended in, so if you go over it twice, it blends like the next level of pen basically. So if you have one shade of gray, if you go over it again, it'll jump up to the next shade of gray almost exactly, just because that's how they do their shades of color basically. So they blend together really well without ruining the marker tips and all kinds of cool things like that.
It's just good. It's good for adding value, for shading.
Yeah, like they're what a lot of the traditional style comic book people used for doing their art.
It's like what's it called? Is it like gouache or something?
Watercolor. It's watercolor for noobs basically.
Isn't that similar to what gouache is? I've never used it, but
I haven't even heard of that. Just everyone I know that works traditionally in town in my art group likes Copic markers basically. So I've been like, I want to try those, but
right.
I have my sweet tablet and my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, once I started up again, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm going all in on digital.
Yeah. It'd be nice to have a digital thing like that you can draw on, just like like yours, where you're actually drawing on the screen, but one that you can travel with. You can go do plein air stuff with that.
They've got one now.
Oh, I know. They've got a few of them different.
The problem is the things you generally plug them into aren't anywhere near as powerful as like a computer or my super beefy laptop. Like once they get the technology where you can remote into your desktop from your tablet, that's when it'll start being really worthwhile to get one of those traveling ones, I think.
Yeah.
Because like NVIDIA is doing the software that lets you basically stream games from your tablet to your computer. Like just the interface, so it'll like stream video from your computer to your tablet and all your actions from your tablet back to your computer in basically real time.
Ooh, Sergio. When did you do that?
This is actually, I did these ones around the time I did the one I put in the class.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have forgotten about these ones. This might, I don't know, might work.
I like that. I like the rock formations in that.
Yeah.
You have this one.
You did that from a class.
I recently watched a tutorial for. I did this after watching a tutorial from Dylan Cole.
Yeah, Dylan Cole. He does this for a Gnomon class.
Yeah, a friend of mine gave me a few videos to watch, and this is the composition is pretty much the same. So I wouldn't use this, but
those little tiny pebble things. How did you do that?
It's a photograph.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Sergio's holding out on us.
This is I actually forgot about this.
I would
This
not want to live
folder.
there. I do not trust it.
Yeah.
I would love the idea of living up there,
Yeah.
but I would just every time I turn around, I'd look out and pass out because I have a severe heights phobia.
You know, I mean, maybe if it was a man-made object that made to look like it was natural, so it was really secure.
See, that wouldn't
That's
bother
my
me. It's
thought.
just the height. If there was like a huge
Oh.
fence around it, I'd be okay.
Or the day when the tide erodes the other side of the arch and it just falls in the water.
Yeah, that's what that's what I'm immediately thinking. It's just its days are numbered. You know.
These are like the ones I showed one of the last classes. Speed is all you care about. But yeah, you have this one could be easily used as a mount,
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it.
and you have this one over here.
It's like a
Yeah,
really
I'm going
big
through all stuff that I forgot that I had actually.
Yeah, you need to get some of those up there. I like that dragon with all the. It looks like a lion mane.
This?
Yeah.
Let me see.
It's like a really big, was it that, I think Ray called them frog beasts or something like that?
Yeah, the Brog Beast.
I did one for the Broadbeats, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Huh?
Yeah, it's
Jeez.
But I like the idea of dragons with hair on them in places. Nobody does
you
that.
do.
Yeah.
We should do dragons with
Uh,
feathers, because dinosaurs have feathers now.
That's true.
Yeah. They do now.
Or they
I don't
always
think they
did, we
do.
just didn't give them feathers before.
Except they did that in that terrible Aragon, that terrible movie.
I didn't see it,
Oh,
but
no.
I hear it's bad.
Yeah, it's
Aw.
it's not god awful, but compared to the story, it was.
Isn't it like basically? It's a ripoff of something, maybe Star Wars, just or something.
No,
It's like, but it's,
they were
the theme
expecting to
is-
do 3 of them. Well, I mean,
like
you could argue
basic
almost
theory.
any theme is
Yeah.
ripped off Star Wars, and you could argue that Star Wars is. I mean, he basically took that right out of Joseph Campbell's book on the hero's journey, right down to the last detail. But it was supposed to be 3 movies based on a
But he
3-book
sprinkled-
series, and it just.
He sprinkled some future tech in there, so that makes
Oh, I
it
forgot
different.
to do the logo.
You forgot to do what?
No,
Forgot
the
to remove
logo,
the logo.
for future check.
Oh, the logo.
Wolf, if you want, I can send you this, so you can draw on top. Practice with it.
Yeah.
The forearm's a little long.
Yeah.
You had to be careful with that, but I
Right.
did this once a long time ago, and they were really useful for me.
All right.
I don't know if
Yeah, load them up there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, just load them up for everybody.
yeah.
Not
I
with
think
that
I don't
logo.
have- What?
Oh, I was just complaining about the logo. I don't care.
Because it wasn't Future Tech.
This?
Yeah, I was just joking. Because you had mentioned it. I said,
This
you,
actually,
you said you'd load it up there, and I said, not with that logo.
It's not a logo from anything. It's actually a logo I did for me a long time ago, but the name was already taken, so I couldn't really use it. Let me see. There. It's crappy that I couldn't use it. I can use the name, so. What is this?
All right, Sergio, you continue to do a lot of good work despite every week saying that you're not going to be able to do much work.
Yeah.
The week that you say I have the week off and I can do a ton of work, I'm going to be so excited.
Yeah, I'll put these ones in the C file. Let's see. Yeah, I believe I don't have. Oh,
Uh-oh. Hang in there,
nah,
computer.
I just press. Yeah, no, it's really dying. It's
Alrighty, well, we will hop over to Nick and give your computer a bit of a break.
yeah.
And nice work, man. I like a lot of those designs. Even the ones
Yeah.
that I'm just blatantly stealing because they're not for this class. They are now.
Yeah, I wish we could do some pod racing in this.
Some
little
pod
vehicle.
racing. I hate that movie so much. I just don't think I could do it.
You could do it if you had a pod. You'd want to race it.
Did you touch that up, Nick?
Yeah, I did. That's one of the things I got some critiques from my other class, or from like the Jonas DeRose actual thing, and the guy that's mentoring me in town. That's how I fixed that one.
Ah.
Actual thing? Do you mean his? You taking that?
I took
Camp
Jonas DeRose Skillshare class.
Isn't it called a camp or something? Or am I thinking of someone else?
Oh, you're thinking of, I think you're thinking of Noah Bradley, Art Camp.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Okay,
Yeah, no,
so which screen are you guys seeing now? Just out of curiosity. Photoshop?
It's a very tall building.
Okay, yeah, you're seeing Photoshop. Okay. So yeah, that was an Alethian structure thumbnail that I started working on earlier today.
Can you zoom that a little?
You're gonna start. I drew it that size, so it's gonna start looking weird.
It better not start looking like boots.
So,
Very
yeah,
tall.
Is it meant to be like a wall?
it's meant to
Looks
be
like-
like constructed out of the end of a ridge, basically.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
So you have
cool.
like two valleys on either side.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Skull Island in King Kong.
I don't really remember that movie. I don't know why.
They had a big fence around their village because
Yeah, to keep
they
Kong
had a
in.
Kong. That's what you do.
Okay, so yeah, that one I was just trying to think of more interesting ways to do those structures. You know, like actually working it into the environment a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. That's
Sweet. Yeah.
you chose a very
Yeah.
cool perspective too. I like that.
Yeah, I've been messing around with similar perspectives for other things recently, so I was just like, let's do a really tall one with an Alethian building, kind of.
The ridge seems a little strangely thin, though.
It's okay. I was thinking about doing other buildings, like going back, where instead of just doing one structure, they built like a couple along the ridge just because it was conveniently there.
Mhm.
I just didn't paint them, and since I did it all in one layer, I decided not to go back and change things. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing like a significantly more detailed version, so I might add more buildings in the background there, just so it'll increase like the depth and stuff if you see the structure repeated as you go back.
That's
And
very
then
cool.
my next
I
one-
look forward to that.
And then my next one was, I was sort of doing, it's just like, well, what if you had a field of boulders? They made like a village out of that. So I did sort of like a tropical boulder field thing where I didn't really get the Alethian structures in there so well, but that's kind of the idea I was going for. So,
A boulder for what?
like they built their houses out of like a big like rock field basically, where they just lifted up some boulders and like built their house into the sides of the boulders.
So basically, the whole area would just look like a big pile of giant boulders.
And then when you started walking
Like where your
through it,
cursor is?
yeah, like through there, and like
Those
this
are
would be like
boulders. I thought those were trees.
there's trees and then there's like the big bouldery like
Okay.
lumpy things behind them.
It's funny because the background mountain, right next to where your cursor was, the black silhouette almost looks like buildings. Yeah, right there.
Oh, these right here, yeah, those were the buildings. And then like the further back
No, I mean
ones-
that little gray silhouette
Oh yeah, I could see. I could turn that into castle. Or something,
Yeah,
but-
it's like, oh, what do you mean you didn't
Yeah.
get the buildings? It's right there.
Yeah. That's Camelot, right?
Yeah.
It's a silly place.
But yeah, I wasn't too happy with the way that one turned out, so I probably won't do anything with it. I might try the concept again later, but
Yeah,
I'm not using that thumbnail for anything.
Yeah, I can see where that thumbnail's not going to work for you, but I do really like the concept. That would make a very cool game area.
Yeah, or I was gonna do something like Mesa Verde, like we saw earlier.
Up
Where you
in
got-
the left corner. Is that
That's like you're standing on like the porch of one of those rock buildings, looking out over the river onto the rest of the rock buildings,
Oh.
basically.
okay?
I just stopped developing it, so it stopped looking
Okay.
like anything.
Yeah, because I kind of felt like I was in a cave looking out or something.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. I just didn't really develop it very well.
Right.
And remember, I was drawing it like that big.
Yay for thumbnails.
Yep.
You actually draw it way back like that?
Yeah, I sort of was going between maybe this zoom
Okay.
and that zoom. Just, I sort of realized the concept was gonna work, wasn't gonna work earlier, but I kept trying to fix it and it didn't work out for me.
Ah, lesson learned.
And then I figured I'd do like a human spaceport kind of structure.
Oh, sweet.
So I figured they'd have a big runway, some ships for launching, and then a couple things coming into land. And then these little, where my cursor is now, like those little slanty things, I figured they'd have really bunkery, whatever you call them, the places where they park planes.
Hangers.
Hangers?
Hangars, there we go, that's the word. So I figured they'd have really bunkery hangars just in case one of the rockets blew up on the pad. They'd have something to protect the actual aircraft.
You know, it'd be awesome if those aircraft spun around like boomerangs and always came back to you.
That would make the pilots vomit, so I don't think that would work well.
This plane's awesome, but it always pulls 17 Gs.
Well, that would be the one spot that wouldn't rotate. It would
Oh,
rotate
you mean
around
like
it.
a gyroscopically stabilized cockpit in the middle
Yeah.
of a boomerang?
Yes.
That would be ridiculous.
No, that is a must.
And we are reserving ridiculous for your boots.
I'm putting my giant-sized boot down on this one. It's gotta
See,
be.
if we do that though, we have to make a giant robot that looks like an Australian aborigine to be throwing those ships. That's how they get launched.
I figured that we were doing that.
Dear.
An aboriginal robot.
And he has a giant didgeridoo that he plays as a launch
A
system.
rain
I'm just saying.
stick.
I think we just crossed some kind of line here.
I haven't gotten a lot of sleep this week. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I've been up till like 2 or 3 every morning, and then up at like 7:30 or 8 to go to work. So
No, I really
And,
like that. Now, the only thing I will say about that is the human buildings on the left, in terms of a silhouette, remind me a great deal of the Elysian buildings. So when you play with that, think
Yeah.
about how you change them up.
Right.
they will
Yeah.
be like the rocket launch things where they're just a gigantic pile of beams, basically.
Oh,
They're
okay.
Like, they'll be like a tower. I just didn't want to draw the line, so I just drew a straight line up, basically.
All right, that works. There, problem solved. Good job. You get an A.
Yeah, I was thinking of the same things too.
Okay, and then there's that revised image again.
Oh yeah, that one.
That turned out really well.
Sweet.
So yeah, yeah, the cave, like little things up here on the cave where those leafy things are hanging down were bothering me before. And I still need to go back in and make the sky look a little bit more painterly because it doesn't really fit with everything else. But my problem is I'm not sure how to do it without ruining the sky.
I'll give you my take on the sky. The sky does not bother me at all, except through the hole of the cave.
Oh, right here?
Yeah. If that was either matched up to the rest of the sky better or just made to disappear against the side of the mountain, then that wouldn't bother me at all. The actual open area, it works fine for me.
Okay. Yeah, I did do some stuff to make it look more painterly than I did before, so it does blend significantly better than it did the first time. And I also like distorted it and made it fit the perspective better.
Yep. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
that little area in that hole is the only one still bugging me.
Yeah, it's definitely improved since the last time.
And then we have the other ones. There's the original of the image that I retouched after the critique. Yep, that's the robot that hunts sand penguins. And then here's it. Oh wait, this is the before, and then this one's the after. So it's basically, if I zoom in some without, well, let's full screen it.
Yeah, you put
So
this one up on Facebook, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, so basically what the critique was, it looked like the robot was floating before because there wasn't, there was too much detail on the back end and not enough detail on the front, basically, so it looked, instead of having the focus on the front, the focus was on the back, which sort of made it float.
Uh-huh.
And then the new one, yeah, just faded out the background stuff a little bit, so it was more, it had some atmospheric perspective to match the atmospheric perspective in the actual painting. And then I added detail to the front so that your eye got pulled to the front instead of just floating around, not really looking at anything.
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier. I have one more critique for it.
Yeah.
And which way you go is your choice. Either the legs and the underside on the right side, either the shadow there is too dark or the shadow on the ground is not dark enough.
I've been messing around both ways, and it doesn't fix anything. Like, I'm thinking it's just the ground is too in focus. I might need to actually take some of the detail out of the ground, because you wouldn't be looking at the ground, you'd be looking at the robot. So all that rock detail would need to get, like, faded out a little bit, I think.
Yeah, like, is the underside the same color as the top? Because
Yeah, it's just in shadow. The light's coming from a weird angle.
yeah, but it's like I think it's really a dark shadow. So I'm not it seems
Yeah,
like
that's
bounce light should be coming up and
Yeah, that's basically what I was getting at. If
contrast.
there's that
Yeah,
much
that's
bounce
what I
light
thought.
on the ground, then
Yeah,
the
there should
robot
be.
would be lighter, and if the robot's that dark, then there wouldn't be that much bounce light on the ground.
Maybe I should just take the ground and use that as a photo texture for the shadows of the robot to lighten them up.
Oh yeah, you could do that. Make it look like a bit of a reflection. That would be cool.
Anyway, I'll monkey with that next time I'm
Feeling like
monkey
monkeying.
with stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, there are a
Once
lot
I'm
of
done.
improvements to it. I really like the detail you added around the claws digging in.
Yeah, that was just one of the same photo textures I used in that other one, the Jonas DeRoe class one. I just made it tiny instead of huge.
Yeah, we're gonna turn you into a photo texture horror, Nick.
Yeah, like, I like them, but at the same time, I like my painterly things, so it's kind of hard to find a good balance between the two of them.
You should really look up Noah Bradley then, because he's really good with photo textures, but he almost never uses them because he learned to paint traditionally and he prefers it.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
most
I'll have to look.
of his illustration is all hand painted.
The other problem with photo textures is it's really hard to find one that actually fits, like, the scene. Like, I've messed around so much with some of these photo textures where I'm just like, I might as well have painted the detail in.
Yeah, you get really envious of somebody like Jonas who has like 300,000 pictures he's taken over the last however many years.
Yeah,
To have
like, I've
that
been like,
face.
Like, I'm glad I finally got a smartphone because I've just been wandering around taking pictures now of stuff. So I'll be like, I'll get weird looks and I'm just like bending down next to the concrete to get some weird angle on a crack. But
But that
I
way,
decided
that
that-
way, when you look at him and go, "What? I'm an artist," they'll just go, "Oh, he's an artist. He's supposed to be
Yeah.
weird."
Yeah, you can say you're an artist or an engineer. They both get the same result.
Yeah, but I think of the thumbnails, I'm actually liking that human one the best so far for some reason. I don't know why.
That's my favorite. Well, first of all, it's a really good composition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually my first couple thumbnails don't come out nearly as well as like the last couple.
Yep.
And
Well, your hand and your eye get into a flow. The later ones are almost always better. But yeah, the composition on that is really good.
so yeah, I think since I've got that art show coming up, this one for sure is gonna end up being like a really detailed printed image. So it's gonna be 300 dpi, like, I don't remember. I need to figure out what the matting is gonna be, but it's gonna be like something like 26 by 16 inches or something like that.
Oh my, nice big one.
Yeah, I found frames on sale, like they're like 30 by 20 frames.
Oh
for, like,
yeah, I
25
saw that
bucks.
on Facebook too. A big pile of frames. Like, well, all my pictures are going to be this size.
So when you do the art show, do you like rent a space, or do you like?
There's a guy in town that has basically every 2 to 3 months he has an art show where it's like sort of talk to somebody and you get invited to it basically.
So you don't have to pay to.
Oh, I have to pay to get in and they take a cut. It's just not a very big fee. It's like 30. I think it's $25 for 3 pieces and then $5 for every additional piece.
So basically, if you
that's
can
to
sell
show
one.
those pieces, or that's.
I show all 4 pieces, whatever. I can sell prints of the pieces there. I can charge whatever I want, but I'm gonna charge something that'll actually sell.
Right.
So I think for something that size, like framed, I don't know how much matting I'm gonna do, just because not a lot will fit in the frames I bought. But I'll probably charge like something that size, probably 80 or 90 bucks for the print framed.
Now, how much does it cost you between the frames and the printing to actually produce the piece?
It's like a couple bucks for printing because I know somebody with an Epson printer. So the cost is the frames basically, and whatever time I sink into them.
Oh, okay. So never mind. I was thinking that you were framing a canvas, man.
No, like I could print on a canvas, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's pricey.
Well, I just have to buy the roll of canvas, and canvas printing isn't too bad if you compare it against like framing something nicely. You can get a cheap 24 by 36 canvas print for like 60 bucks. Like that's actually really good quality, and getting the same size framed would be like 150 bucks.
Yeah.
So it all kind of depends. I just like printing it myself because I have more control over the final result. Instead of being like, hey guys in California, let's see what you can do with this JPEG image I sent you. And then you wait a week and you're just like, well, I don't have time to get these reprinted and they're all too dark.
Yeah, and it is handy to know somebody's got one of those large printers. Jason's the only person I know that's got one, and he's 600 miles away from me. So.
Yeah, this guy in town, like, it's the same guy that's like mentoring me and giving me like advice on these shows. Has 2 big Epson printers, one with like, basically so he doesn't have to switch inks out, and he has like a whole bunch of other stuff. Like he's an awesome guy to know for sure.
Well, recorded officially. Hats off to him. Thank him very much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one fleshed out. That is a really nice concept and a really nice composition.
Agreed.
What else was there?
The values on it are really good too. Those are the things that are making it stand out.
Yeah, well, those are going to be... Those are always hard to maintain once you go to like the actual like full image sometimes for some reason. I don't know.
Tell me about it.
Now, is it just me, or is that other launcher off in the distance there? Has he got something attached to him?
It's got something attached to him.
Sweet.
So I'm going to model a couple ships real fast and paint over them, I think.
Richard's all about the human side.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit attached to it.
So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and I still want to do the outside of one of those Alethian structures that I painted the inside for, just until I get it right. So I'm probably going to do some more thumbnails for that.
I do like that idea with like a line of buildings along a ridge like that.
Yeah, so I might do one that's sort of like a... Actually, that'd be kind of cool to do 2 different like sets of Alethian structures. One like really big skyscrapers out of a ridge, and then one like a village sort of built out of the side of like a canyon or something. Like,
Yeah,
have
like,
you guys
like
heard
the
of Mesa Verde?
Yeah, the Mesa Verde.
Yeah.
Because I have some reference pictures of that sitting around someplace. So
Sort of like Cincha's home village, that sort of thing.
yeah, kinda.
Very nice. Now, how much of this thumbnailing did you do during class?
Almost all of it. I started that one like 10 minutes before class started, and then the other ones were both during class.
I'm so
So,
slow. I hate that about me.
Yeah, I got 3 done in about an hour and a half, I think.
Well done, sir.
Thanks. See, but then I watched like Jonas or somebody thumbnail, and I'm just like, I need to get this down to like 10 minutes.
I
It's
know
going
you can.
amazing.
I cut my wrists almost daily because of him and a couple other people. So really,
Or like he'll post something
It's
up
bad
and
for your health.
yeah, he'll post something up and he'll be like, I spent 30 minutes on that. I'm just like, well, that sucks. That's like 3 hours of my time right there.
oh, he's put up some are like 20 minutes, and I'm like, that would take me 4 days. It's just,
Yeah.
but he paints all day every day. Yeah, it's what he does.
Yeah, like, I assume that'll make anyone faster than anything, because I used to not be fast with Illustrator, then I got this job, and now I can just whip stuff out without thinking about it.
Yep. Yeah, just keep plugging away.
Alright, but yeah, that's pretty much all I've got.
Well, that's perfect. Look, it's 10:01. Well timed, sir.
Oh, why, thank you. I planned that, obviously.
Well, of course. It couldn't have worked out that way by coincidence.
So, nick of time.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody get a little extra sleep this week.
That's not gonna happen.
Alrighty, Richard, are you coming with anything
Apparently
next
not.
week?
Hang on one second.
Alright. Wolf, what are you coming back with next week? Ludicrous boots? I want ludicrous boots now.
I'll keep working on it.
Awesome. I think you're off to a good concept there. So, yeah, keep playing until you're happy with what you get. I suspect both of them will be potential options.
Except for the boots.
Yeah, just remember, unfortunately, as a concept artist, it gets passed to a 3D artist, and you don't have a lot of control there, Wolf.
You should try adding some like spiky heels. I bet that would really set the model off.
Okay, sorry about
I
that.
really want to see him as like the 70s disco boots.
Yeah.
But no, all right, yeah, we'll look forward to seeing that. Richard, what are you bringing next week?
I'm gonna try and get that head and face done, and have that ready to go. And if I don't get it up and running in time for next week's class, the following class I will actually be able to stay at home and attend because I won't be going to work.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, we're heading into my Wednesdays off, so that makes me happy.
Awesome. All right, Sergio, you've got a couple things to flesh out. I like the way the vehicle designs are going. I might future them up a little bit more if you play with any of those.
I want to, if I can use my boss tablet, I will try to flesh them out. If I can, I think I will concentrate on the characters just because it's what I do faster.
Yeah, it's
Traditionally.
easier to sketch that by hand.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll have to see if I can spend time in the studio for
until we get you
for
back
personal use, let's say.
Until we get you back into a tablet, we will continue to consider you on the whatever you're able to do pass.
Okay.
Remember that?
Mostly I try to make the isometric views of Daniel for Richard,
Sweet.
if I
Okay.
can.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
I might,
yeah.
I might try
Um,
speed modeling a couple of those ship concepts just because I need ship concepts for that one image.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Hmm.
Oh wait a minute, didn't you say something about a robot too?
No, no one said anything about a robot.
Okay, well, I'll do my Aboriginal mech too.
No,
And then we'll
no,
be
that you
showing-
were going to show us that you redid one or something based on the critique.
Oh yeah, that was that spider robot.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant an actual model.
No, it was all 2D concept art.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
We thought you were talking about the aborigine.
The Aboriginal. You will have that, right?
Throwing Wolf Boomerang ship? Of course I will. It'll be fully fleshed out and modeled, ready to animate. I also always tell the truth.
Oh, by the way, Sergio, nothing says futuristic like random blinking lights.
I hate to admit it, but there's some
That
truth to
would
that.
Crazy.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe not the blinking, not so much the blinking lights, but yeah, put in a little,
Random colored lights.
yeah, colored lights.
We also
It'll
have
either
to
look
have
like
the
the future or Chinatown or both.
We
And
also
also
have to have, like,
computers.
the early electronic typewriter type noises.
Oh yeah, and like computers that run off like the magnetic tape things. That'd be good too.
Oh dear.
Right.
Seen episodes of Get Smart.
You mean that's not going on inside my computer right now?
Well, you can't. You can hear it whirring, can't you?
They actually are still making those kind of things though. They have like a several hundred terabyte tape that Sony made.
Oh my god.
That's disgusting.
Wow.
Yeah,
wanna see
so
it.
Does that come in 8-tracks?
it's actually a Betamax.
And I'm back to the boots.
How dare you?
All right, guys. In that case,
Oh, I get what you meant.
yeah, 8-track
70s.
70s boot. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Awesome class. Very good work this week, and we will see you guys next week.
Sweet deal. Take care, guys.
Take care,
Talk to you
guys.
then.
Yeah.
Bye.